Okay, I have my basic talking points here. First off, I'm not new to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. Uh, I've mined almost every form of cryptocurrency in the internet. Uh, when I started mining, we used GPUs on the computers, and if I had known Bitcoin was going to be worth this much money, I probably would have worked harder at it. I use one GPU on my computer. Uh, I probably would have set up a mining farm instead if I'd known it was going to take off this big at the time, back a long time ago when I mined right up until the point when the mining became I've not mining anymore. I mined right up until the point when the mining became a losing proposition where it cost more power. The power consumption was greater than the amount of coin it was worth. So I quit. But I really enjoyed mining different coins off of the internet. It's something like real mining in the fact that you can hit a vein where your machines are are digging the coins out really nice, and that's kind of like you're hunting for that, just like in real gold in the ground. You're hunting for a vein, and it's fun. It's actually fun. I enjoyed it. Uh, During the time when it was worthwhile to do to a certain degree. I did get a few coins, but I would, if I'd known back then, like I say, I would have went off a lot, at it a lot harder. Uh, Suffice to say, I learned a lot over the years, and I'm going to reveal some of this knowledge to you tonight. The things that I've learned. One of the things that I've learned is the Bitcoin is like a train. It runs on a track, and the track is called an algorithm. There's different algorithms. The most famous algorithm, the one that Bitcoin runs on, is called SHA-256. Before SHA-256, there was SHA-1, and then there was SHA-2. There is SHA-3. SHA-256 is running off of SHA-2. It's just one of the ones. There's SHA-256, and there's SHA-5. I think it's 512. I'm not exactly sure. It's five something, 500 and something. I'm very familiar with SHA-256. The interesting point about this is that the NSA, the National Security Agency, developed SHA-256. And they invented it. And this is the track that Bitcoin runs on. Now, I don't have a clue. They say uh, Satoshi Nakamura invented Bitcoin. Nobody's ever met this man. Nobody knows who he is. They think they found him a few times, but that's just a wild goose hunt. That's not the real inventor. They've just chasing after this guy and that guy, thinking it's Satoshi. Myself, Satochi's a ghost. There is no man called Satoshi. Uh, there never was. It's just a invention of the parties who actually did create Bitcoin. And I don't believe it was one man. I believe it was a rather large group working over a long period of time, because this is pure genius. The way Bitcoin functions is pure genius. It's the blockchain is the biggest, most powerful invention since the wheel, since the light bulb. Pure genius. And so this is the technology really behind the Bitcoin. The real advancement is the blockchain technology. The next thing I want to say about it is that there was one computer that mined Bitcoin for a long time before anybody even knew about it. And that computer was not a powerful computer, very, very not powerful computer, but it was mining a Bitcoin like maybe one Bitcoin every 30 minutes or something. Just tink, 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 tink. And it did that for ages, months after months, all by itself. Back when it was so easy to mine them, like nothing to mine them. Those Bitcoin have not surfaced. What about the bitcoins that were stolen uh, by what was the name of that big Bitcoin company? I used to do business there with them, and I can't remember their name. At any rate, there was a lot lost there. Something I think like 500,000 or something bitcoins. So there's a lot of missing bitcoins. Now there will only ever be 20 million bitcoins total, and so there's a hard limit on them. And as they mine, it gets harder and harder and harder to mine them out, and they keep doubling the difficulty every, I think it's 4 years. So what we're looking at here is also the Bitcoin wallet address, which is a long string of numbers. I think it's 18 numbers and letters, and they're random. They could be capital letters, or they can be lowercase, or they could be numbers. And there's something like 18 of them in a row, these numbers. And this makes a string of numbers with cryptography so hard to crack, nobody can crack it. And you could have one number for every single man, woman, and child on Earth, and it wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't have any duplicates in the numbers. And so what makes Bitcoin, gives it as anonymity, is the fact that you can actually change your wallet address. This is what gives Bitcoin its anonymity. Now, just think for yourself for a minute. What would happen if that was all changed so that the wallet address was assigned to you and it was kept on record or file? The wallet address was assigned to you. Then the blockchain technology would turn around, and rather than being something that's anonymous, the blockchain technology could be accessed by anyone to see your purchases and find out where you spend your money. And also, that address could be turned off, and when it's turned off, you would not be allowed to buy or purchase anything anywhere on Earth. And if that was the only method of purchasing anything, then you would die of starvation because you wouldn't be able to buy anything to eat. So if you're a criminal and the wallet addresses are assigned and your wallet address is turned off, you're a dead man. Doesn't matter where you hide. You're a dead man. You starve to death. This is the kind of power the blockchain technology has over the system. And so what we have here is Bitcoin, the way I see it. I see it was a beta test. They wanted to find out how well the system would work. And it wasn't perfect. It had its flaws. And one of the big flaws is scaling, what they call scaling. Scaling is the technology that allows it to do multiple transactions around the world. It's like a pipe. How much water can you force through a 1-inch pipe? Well, it's fine if you're only feeding 10 villagers with water. But if 1 million villagers come in, they need more than a 1-inch pipe. They're going to need a 5-inch pipe. That's scaling. That's scaling the pipe up to size. Bitcoin that has scaling issues. If everybody in the world come onto Bitcoin right now, I don't think it could handle the amount of volume of traffic. They're trying to rescale Bitcoin up, but you have to understand, it was only ever meant to be a beta test. Because of that, because Bitcoin is the beta test, now the newer programs they've developed can scale out much larger. But to do that, you have to start all over again with a fresh new coin. And of course, you have to understand something. The world's central banks have all patented the technology now so that they can bring out a new coin. Bitcoin is probably going to go to at least $10,000 per coin. before it dies. You're probably wondering, well, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is it's a beta test. And when the time comes, Bitcoin will probably die, but it's probably going to go to at least $10,000 per coin before it dies, and in quite rapid fashion. How will Bitcoin die? That's what you're probably asking me next. Is Bitcoin is going to expand so rapidly that they're not going to be able to scale it out quick enough, and at a certain point. And when that happens, the network's going to freeze up. And the next thing is, if you can imagine all these people owning these very expensive coins, at that point they're probably going to be worth more than $10,000 each. So you can imagine yourself, if your retirement is you finally decided to go all in for Bitcoin when they're $10,000 an ounce, so you buy yourself 10 for your retirement money, or maybe 20 of them, and you put them away in your wallet, and all of a sudden the network freezes. What's the next result? Well, the next result is you are going to panic. All my retirement money is in Bitcoin, and I can't move my Bitcoin out of my wallet. In fact, my wallet's frozen. My wallet won't even sync with the network. Ah, right? And even it might get so bad that even these I'm not talking about a wallet that has to download the entire blockchain. That I'm talking about a wallet that only has to download a small fraction of the blockchain. It won't even sync. None of them will sync with the network. When that happens, and they finally fix the problem, maybe after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, all these people that own Bitcoin are going to be rushing in and plugging the system trying to sell so that they can get into something that they feel more safe and secure with. It's going to create insecurity in the network, and then prices are going to fall like a stone. And with Bitcoin, there's no bottom to the price, because what are we talking about here? We're talking about something that's backed by nothing, absolutely nothing. And so it can go all the way down to 1 penny, below 1 penny. In fact, I've seen it do it. I've seen it go to zero. And so there is no absolute bottom for the price, and there is no absolute top. So you're going to see it go over $10,000, and then in my estimation, you're going to see it rattled, and it's probably going to be rattled on purpose by, well, by who? I just leave you to guess. The people who have the most to gain from ending the beta test and then going in and creating their own cryptocurrencies to replace Bitcoin that are scaled to handle the massive volumes. And you can just bet that these new cryptocurrencies are going to really work good, and they're going to become the new standard. And the reason why is because, number one, they're so fast, they don't require a third party for transactions. They're so fast, and they're so adept at moving money, and they never fail. And all the time that I've used cryptocurrency, whenever I've transferred money, I've never had a failure, not one. And I've transferred all different kinds of different types of cryptocurrencies, and from wallet to wallet, this wallet to that wallet, across the internet, and I've never had the money not get to where it's supposed to go from one wallet to another. The biggest thing is you have to copy and paste the address correctly, and double check and make sure that the address is the correct address you're sending to. When you hit that send button, the money always makes it to the point of the other side of the transaction. Doesn't matter how far away it is. Doesn't matter if it's halfway around the earth. It's almost instantaneous. This beats any other form of money transaction, hands down. And so, just like the light bulb won out because it was better than the oil lamps, this is going to win out. It's going to win in the end. And the world is going to be on cryptocurrency. And they're probably going to be called credits. And eventually they're going to settle on a cryptocurrency that is going to become the standard for the world. But I do not believe it's going to be Bitcoin. And that's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. But like I say, I believe before you see that happen, you're going to see Bitcoin exceed $10,000 an ounce. And we're not talking about in the far distant future either. We're talking about in a rather short period of time. In fact, it's getting ready to go to dizzying heights pretty soon now, I think, anyway. So that's all I got to say now about this subject. And if you enjoyed listening to me, comment and share and go ahead and sign up to my channel. And thank you very much. Over and out.